Namaste Jijñāsu. So today, as promised, we are going to uh, discuss a little more bit towards the Indian knowledge systems, particularly the Unit 1 of the UGC NET syllabus. So what I am going to do is to take topics of Unit 1 syllabus of UGC NET, each topic one by one, and discuss them. The discussion will be introductory in nature. After discussing each topics at the introductory level, we will go into depth of them. Okay, so let's begin. Today we all are going to learn about the Caturdaśa Vidyāsthānas. What it is. Before knowing the Caturdaśa Vidyāsthāna, what you have to know is the knowledge classification. As I have already said, the Indian knowledge system, the knowledge system that is originated, developed in the Indian subcontinent, is traced from the 3000 BCE. So we have almost more than 5000 years of knowledge accumulation. So when the knowledge the knowledge is not of us single in nature. There are multiple domains. Each domain have multiple schools of thoughts, and each school of thoughts have multiple sub-schools, and among them we have a text, their authors, all those things are there. So what we could say, that we have a huge knowledge, and since if there is a huge knowledge and there are lots of domain, there must be a classification system. So today we have knowledge divided into the humanities, sciences, and the arts. Arts is divided into different subjects. Humanity into social sciences into again more sub-subjects. Sciences into physics, chemistry, biology into botany and geology. Similarly, there were different classification systems of Indian knowledge system. There is no, let me tell you, there is no any one system which I could say is the uniform all across the tradition, or which is the which covers all the domains of knowledge. But here what we are going to discuss is the major classifications frameworks. Okay, one of them, which is most prominent one, is the Caturdaśa Vidyāsthānas or Aṣṭādaśa Vidyāsthānas. Caturdaśa Vidyāsthānas means 14. Caturdaśa means 14, and Vidyāsthānas means domains of knowledge. So there are core 14 domains which are listed particularly in the Kavyamīmaṅsa. I am taking the source as a Kavyamīmaṅsa for discussion. So this is the most famous framework, and when you will see the syllabus, you will find the same. There is the mention of Caturdaśa Vidyāsthānas as a knowledge classification. So as I said, there will be 14 core domains. So 14 means 4 Vedas. Now 6 Vedangas and 4 Upangas. So when you will get 4 plus 6 plus 4, what you will get? You will get total 14 in number. And the 4 Vedas are Rigved, Yajurved, Samved, Atharved. We all know it, I think. And we also know that each Vedas have separate 4 subsections. One is called the mantra bhag, is called the Samhita. that contains hymns. Then the Brahmans, which means the ritualistic part, which is mentioned there, how to do that activities, all those systems. Then the Aranyak for the forest dwellers, and then the Upanishad. So each Ved have their own Samhitas, their own Brahmans, their own Aranyak and Upanishad. Also, each Samhitas was different for different sakhas. There were sakhas, branches of each Vedas, and each have slightly different numbers of mantras, and they have different brahmanas, their own aranyakas, then Upanishads. So what you will find that the when I say there is a four Vedas, it just not means four texts. It means at least 100 plus text, at least 100 texts. So when I say four Vedas, okay. So got it? Four Vedas are Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samveda, Atharvaveda. Each of them is further divided into the Samhitas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and Upanishads. And each Veda has more than one Samhita, Brahman, Aranyak, and Upanishad. Okay, got it. Now moving to the Vedangas. What are Vedangas? So Vedang are here, the ang not means the part of Vedas. It means the auxiliary to Vedas. It means if you have to understand the Veda, you should have a good knowledge of these 6 subjects. Okay. So as I said, what basically and now look at the Vedangas, you will understand why I'm saying this, that you need to have a good knowledge of these 6 Vedas, these 6 Vedangas for understanding the Vedas. First is the Siksha. Here Siksha do not means education. You have to remember that the Siksha mentioned there and the Siksha mentioned here is different. It means the phonetics, science of phonetics and phonology. So here you will learn the Ucharan Asthānas, how to pronunciation of the particular vowels, consonants, and also the Swarita, Uddata, Anuddata, all these sounds, how to pronounce them, what are the categories, all these are mentioned there. Okay. So this collection of text which contains the rules of phonetics are called as Siksha Granth. So as you know that the Vedas are oral, primarily oral in nature. They are gay and they are Shruti. So since they are primarily oral in nature, having a good knowledge of phonetics, how to do pronunciation is very important. Got it? So this is Siksha. Siksha do not means education. It means pronunciation. It means the text of phonetics. Okay, so there are lots of text of phonetics, just like the Panini Siksha, just like the Yagvalk Siksha. There are lots of them. At least each Veda has 1 or 2. Now moving to the Kalp. Kalp is just like a book of manuals, you could say, about how to do yagya and how to perform duties. It has further sections like Dharma Sutra. Kalp Sutra is further divided into Dharma Sutra, Griha Sutra, and then the Sulb Sutra, etc. But what you have to imagine it as a group of text that contains, some text contains the rules related to the rituals, some text contains the rules related to the social duties, some text contains the rules related to the marriages, activities, some text contains to how to related to the mathematics of buildings, yagkundas, how to make the yagkund, these things. Okay, so got it? The Kalp relates to the ritualistic part of the Vedas. They are manuals which which may contains the manual of rituals, which also contains the manuals of the social duties, social structure, social works. It also contains the manuals of social activities like marriages, etc. It also contains the manuals of geometry for making the altars or the yagvedis. Okay. Now moving to the third one is the Vyakarana. Vyakarana is grammar. It means knowing the grammar. And I think this is a self-explanatory why this is important. If you don't know the grammar, how you will know the meaning of the sentence? How you will do the vinyog? Okay. Now moving to the nirukta. Nirukta is just like a etymology. Today we see etymology, how this word is derived, how the meaning is conveyed. So all those things, how the meaning is, for example, what is Agni? So there are different sets of meanings of Agni, and each has their own etymology. जैसे यथा यह अग्रणी गच्छति सह अग्नि, that which leads is called Agni. So often the leaders are said to be addressed as Agni. Agni is also a mediator. So there are lots of words have different sets of meanings, and each meaning has its own etymology. And the famous text related to the Nirukta is Yas. Yas is a scholar whose text is Nirukta itself. So the Yas Nirukta is one of the famous texts on Nirukta. You got it? Siksha, the text of phonetics, like Panini Siksha, Yagval Siksha. Next, the Kalpa. There are lots of sets of few texts which are called Kalp, grouped as Kalp. Then the Vyakarana, as I said, that Vyakarana helps in understanding the meaning of the Vedas. There are also different schools of Vyakarana. The famous and the most prevalent school is the Panini school, and the Panini and its foundational text is the Aṣṭādaśa written by the Panini itself. Now the Nirukta is a science of etymology. Its famous text is named Nirukta by Yaska. Okay. Now moving to the fifth Vedanga. Fifth Vedanga is Chanda. As we all know that the Vedas are gay, particularly the Rig Veda and Samveda. Samveda is gay. So there must be a Chanda. There must be a concept of meter. You have to understand the meter, concept of meter, where to pause, where to give a high tone, how to sing, all those things. So a good knowledge of meter is also essential for the Veda. And now moving to the Jyotisha. Jyotisha, do not get confused by the astrology. It is the Jyotish largely means astronomy. It means the science of planetary motions, because the particular yagyas are to be done in the particular time conference, and also you have to, since there are lots of nakshatras mentioned, planetary situations are mentioned in the Vedas, you should have a good knowledge of Jyotisha to understand the meanings of the Vedas. So got it? There are 6 Vedangas. Vedangas here means the auxiliary to Vedas. They are helpful in understanding the meanings of the Vedas. But Vedas are the text written in Sanskrit. So since they are written in Sanskrit, and these are most of the domains which we have listed in the Vedangas are also helpful as us. They are also separate domain which are also helpful in the simple Sanskrit, in classical Sanskrit or the modern Sanskrit, because when you are Jyotisha is a separate field of astronomy, and also the Chanda, particularly in the literature, when you are composing a text, particularly the Gaya text, Padya. Then you have to have a good knowledge of Chanda. Then also Nirukta and grammar are the non-negotiable, and the Siksha also the pronunciation in the Sanskrit. So although they are the auxiliary to Vedas, this doesn't mean their boundary is confined to the Vedas. Since most of the text also shares their domain with the language and literature, they are used there. Okay, and few of them are the independent domains as well. Okay, so there are 4 Vedas and 6 Vedangas. Now there is 4 Upangas. Upangan matlab, it means they are auxiliary to Vedas, but their importance is as much great as of the Vedangas. Sometimes they are also called as extension of Vedas. Okay, so now look at the 4 Upang. So Upang, first they are quite when you will see that the few 2-3 domains are combined into one. Okay, so see the Mimamsa. The first is Mimamsa. So here Mimamsa consists of both the Purvimamsa and the Uttarmimamsa. So when you are seeing here Mimamsa, you have to understand that again the Mimamsa has 2, Purvimamsa and Uttarmimamsa. The Uttarmimamsa is now famously referred as the Vedanta, and Vedanta again has further different schools of Vedanta. Now there is a Nyaya. Nyaya generally refers to the here is the Nyaya is not the particular school of philosophy of Nyaya. Here it means the darshan which are astic in nature, but they are more focused on the logic rather than on the Shruti. So the Mimamsa, the term was Shruti Pradhan. It means the focus is on the Shruti. So the Vedanta and the Purvimamsa and Uttarmimamsa are called Shruti Pradhan Astik Darshan. So Mimamsa is a label of which contains these 2, Purva and Uttar, which are Shruti Pradhan. The Nyaya is the Tark Pradhan, and it label of Tark Pradhan, and it contains Sankhya, Yoga, Vaisheshik or Nyaya. These 4 are inside it. Okay. Similarly, the Puran is again a bigger notation. Puran here has again two further divisions. One is the Puran, which is like Bhagavad Puran, Vayu Puran, Agni Puran, etc. And another one is the Itihasa. So Puran again has 2 bifurcations. One is the Itihasa and another is the Puran itself. Now the 4th one is Dharma Shastra. Dharma Shastra, as you all know, that the Smriti Granthas, etc. are counted in the Dharma Shastra like Manu Smriti, Yagval Smriti, etc. So what you could say that these are the 14 Vidyas, and many scholars have a view that they are the core Vidyas. So whenever a student goes to the Gurukula, in a certain amount of period of time, he have to have a basic understanding of almost each of the good understanding of each of all these 14 Vidyas. Okay, got it? So these were the 14 Vidyasthanas. Again, let's look at the in detail. First, as I said, the Veda simply means the knowledge. It also called the Apurushe. Veda is said to be bifurcated into 4 by the Vyasa, and so there are 4 Vedas: Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sam Veda, and Athar Veda. Each has their own Samhita, their own Brahman, their own Aranyak, and their own Upanishad. The important thing that you have to follow is that the Yajur Veda has 2 more bifurcation. Yajur Veda is divided into Sukla Yajur Veda and Krishna Yajur Veda. and so it's there. So there will be Shukla Yajurveda sub school, and there will be the Krishna Yajurveda sub school. So list here is the list of the samhitas, and each samhita, each branches have their own samhitas. So it's not a single book. It may be variations depending upon the branches. Okay. Now, the Brahman. Brahman, as I said, that it contains the explanation of the mantras and also the how to do them. So all these things are mentioned in the Brahman. Just like as I said, the definition of vidhi, viniyog, hetu, arthavad, nirvachan, and akhyan. These things are mentioned there in the. These things are mentioned in the Brahman. We will discuss more deeply when we will discuss the what is the vidhi, what is the vinyoga, when we will discuss Brahman separately as a topic. Okay. Now, as I said, that each Veda has their own Brahman. So you could see that the Rig Veda has Aitreya and Kaushitiki, Yajurveda, which has two sub schools, Shukla Yajurveda and Krishna Yajurveda has Shukla has Satpat Brahman, Krishna Yajurveda has many Taittiriya and Maitrayani. The Samveda has nine Brahmans, Tande, Sadvins, Ityadi, and the Atharvaveda has Gopat, one Brahman. Okay. Now moving to the Aranyak. As I said, that the Aranyak is just for the forest dwellers, and as I already said that the each Veda has their own Aranyak. So see, the Rig Veda has Aitreya, Kaushitiki, Yajurveda has Sukla, Yajurveda sub school Sukla Yajurveda has Brihadaranya, Krishna has Taittiriya, Samveda has Talvakar, and Atharvedas. None of the Aranyak is available. No here do not means there is no Aranyak for it. It means there is no Aranyak yet available for the Atharveda as per my knowledge. Okay. Now come the Upanishad. Upanishad are, as tradition says, there are 1 and 8 in number, but among them, the 10 is very famous. So the Ish, Ken, Katha, Prashna, Manduka, Mandukya, Titirihi, and the Taittiriya, then Aitareya, Chandogya, and Brihadaranya. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So these 10 which are mentioned in the Mandika Upanishad listed here as their names, these are called as the famous Upanishad. Okay. So these are the most famous prominent Upanishads which are mentioned here. First is the Ishavasya Upanishad or Ish Upanishad, then the Ishopanishad, then the Kenu Upanishad. Just add Upanishad to each of them. So you will find Ishopanishad, Kenopanishad, Kathopanishad, Prashnopanishad, Mundakopanishad, Mandukyopanishad, Taittiriyopanishad, Aitreyopanishad, Chandogyopanishad, and the Brihadaranya Upanishad. Okay, let's understand. As I said, that the numbers are quite varies. The 108, there is 108. Then I said that 10 is the most famous. Some add 2 more and say that 12 is more famous. Some add 2 more and say 14 is more famous. But rest aside, what we are discussing, what our main topic is, that each Veda has their own Upanishad. So, as you could say, the Rig Veda has Aitreya and Kaushitiki Upanishad. The Yajurveda has the sub-schools, Sukla, has Ishavasya Upanishad and the Brihadaranya Upanishad. Again, the Krishna Yajurveda has Taittiriya, Kat, Sveta, Svetar, Maitrayani, Ityadi, etc. Upanishad. Now the Samveda has Chandogya and Ken. Atharveda has Prashna, Mundak and Manduk. So you have to know that at least that which Veda has which Upanishad, because often in the exams, particularly in the UC NET exams, you could get match the followings like questions from this. Now, here's the famous shloka of Panini Siksha, uh, which basically uh, explains that suppose there is a Ved Purusha. It means if we imagine a Ved as a Purusha, then the different anga of the parts of the that body will represent the different Vedangas, the auxiliary to Vedas. As the slok says, Chanda Padautu Vedasya. It means the Chanda is leg of the Veda. Then the Hasto Kalpo Atha Patyate. It means the Kalpa is the two hands of the Vedas, and the Jyotisham Ainam Chakshu. It means the Jyotish are the eyes of the Vedas, and the Niruktam Srotram Uchyate. Nirukta are the ears. Siksha Ghranam. It means Siksha is a nose, and the Vedasya Mukham Asti Vyakaranam. It means the Vedasya Mukham Vyakaranam Smritam. It means that the mouth of the Veda is said to be Vyakarana. So this is the imagination of the writer when he imagines that suppose there is a Veda is Purusha, then what would be the limbs, what will be called the mouth, and he just give analogy. But it have a certain meanings as well. Okay, so these were the in very often a few of the scholars in the exams they often ask these analogy questions on the analogy, which of them is part of legs of the Vedas, which of them is the hand of the Vedas, which of them is called eyes of the Vedas, which of them is called the ears of the Vedas. So if you are preparing for the exam, you could have a just a 1 or 3 round of repetition of this sloka. You will get the answer easily. Okay, so again, let me recap it. We have 4 Vedas and 6 Vedangas and 14 Upangas. These all leads to the Caturdaśa Vidyāsthāna. Chaturdash means 14 Vedasthānas. Okay. As I said, the Mimamsaka. Okay. Now, in few texts, we also find the mention of Aṣṭādaśa Vidyāsthāna. Aṣṭādaśa Vidyāsthāna. What do we mean by it? Aṣṭādaśa simply means 18. Chaturdash means 14. Aṣṭādaśa means 18. So some of the scholars have accepted that there are 18 core disciplines of knowledge in IKS. So what are the 4 extra? Because the 14 are the same. There is no difference in it. There is 4 extra domains, which you will also say that they are prominent one. Let's see. And they are called Upavedas. Okay, so Veda, Vedang, Upang, and then Upaveda. Okay, each of the Vedas is associated with each one of the Upaveda. We will see. So there are 4 Upaveda. First, as I said, that each Veda is associated with one Upaveda. So Rig Veda is associated with Ayurveda. Ayurveda is simply the discipline of medical sciences, health and life. Okay. Now, the Yajurveda is associated with the Dhanurveda. Dhanurveda is the science or discipline of warfare, metallurgy, military and warfare. And then is Samveda, is associated with the Gandharveda. Gandharveda is the discipline of aesthetics, art forms like music, dancing, poetry, sculpture. All those aesthetics like our fields comes in under this domain. And there is Atharveda. Atharveda, some text says that there are 2 associate Sthapatya Veda as the Upaveda of Atharveda. Some texts say Arthashastra. So any of the options you will get, you could take out of them. So Sthapatya Veda is the discipline of engineering and architecture and town planning. The Arthashastra is the discipline of statecraft. So in statecraft, what we mean? We mean it is the umbrella discipline of public administration, governments, polity, economy, IR, all those things, and internal security. All those things comes under the realm of the Arthashastra. So as I said, 14 plus 4 equals to 18, which have Aṣṭādaśa core disciplines as per some scholars. The 4 extra is called Upavedas. Each Veda is associated with one Upaved. Rig Ved is associated with Ayurveda, the discipline of medical sciences. Yajurved with Dhanurved, the discipline of military and warfare. The Samved is associated with the Gandharva Ved. Then Atharved is associated with any of the two. Few texts say Aṣṭāpatya Ved, which means the discipline of engineering and architecture and town planning. The Arthashastra is the discipline of statecraft, which consists of public administration, governance, economy, polity, all those things. Okay, so far we have discussed the Aṣṭādaśa Vidyāsthānas. Okay, I think we should keep our discussion to here only. What you have to remember is you have to remember all these. First of all, the name of classifications, which of them are in which, what are the meaning, prominent text of them. Okay, so then I said the Veda Purusha is and their associated Vedang is also you often asked in the traditional examinations. Then comes the Upaveda, as I said, 4 extra. Here is the different Upavedas associated with the different Vedas. So you have to remember the Upavedas as well and to whom they are associated with. Okay, so this is the so far discussion of the Caturdaśa Vidyāsthānas and Aṣṭādaśa Vidyāsthānas. In the upcoming chapter, as I have already said, that this is one of the prominent way of knowledge qualification, and as you could say, this is just a core disciplines of knowledge in IKS. Still, we have a different classification systems of the Bauddhas. We have different classification system of Jains. In here also we have a different classification system, that we have 64 kalas. We have the idea of Shastra and the Kavya. So Vangmaya is divided into Shastra and Kavya. So we do have more different systems of classifications, frameworks, which we will discuss later. But before I discuss all of this, let me give you one of my understanding, what I have understood so far, that none of the classification framework is so much exclusive. First, that we have to make we should try to make it a more inclusive classification system that should cover the old domains of the IKS. First, what the research is needed is to have also to integrate with the modern classification systems, particularly for the library sciences. Suppose we have, since we know that if you will keep a different branch of books in labeled at IKS, how you will subdivide it and how you will connect it with the modern subjects. So this is one of the good challenge, and I think after listening this basic podcast and basic discussion, you will try to ponder over it. And if you have any issue and any questions, you can write in the comment. I will try to answer it as per best of my knowledge. As I said, I am just a student of IKS, trying to explain things, make content, authentic content on in English on the YouTube channel. Do share and like. Also, if you have any suggestion, I will be happy if you share with us. That's all for today. Dhanyavada.